The patient stuck in hospital for months despite being medically fit. The BBC uncovers evidence that 130 people had to stay on wards for more than 3 months because there was nowhere suitable for them to go.
It's probably the most worrying time in social care that I've ever known in 20 years.
Leaked text messages. Labour accuses the Tories of doing a secret deal with one council to avoid political embarrassment over social care funding. With an ageing population, we'll be asking what the government can do to address the increasingly difficult problem. Also tonight.
The ayes, the right, 494.
MPs vote by a large majority to allow the government to begin formal divorce talks with the European Union. The woman who won a landmark legal battle over her late partner's pension, which could affect millions of unmarried couples. Convicted of embezzlement, now Russia's main opposition leader could be barred from running for president against Vladimir Putin. And the socialite and TV personality Tara Palmer Tomkinson has been found dead at her home. She was 45.
In the south, protection for police, but campaigners say they're cruel. Two forces bring in controversial spit hoods. And more on Surrey County Council's decision to drop a referendum on a 15% rise in council tax.
Good evening. Dozens of hospital patients in England have had to wait for months before being discharged, often because there was no suitable home or nursing care for them. The figures uncovered by the BBC also reveal that one patient was stuck in hospital for more than a year. Half of the acute hospitals in England told us about their longest delays in discharging patients who were medically fit. Over the last 3 years, 130 patients spent 100 days or more waiting to leave hospital. The Mid Yorkshire Hospital Trust reported the longest delay, with one patient having to wait 449 days. Today, a report by the government's spending watchdog has warned that efforts to ease the pressure on the NHS by joining up health and social care aren't working. The ministers say it's too soon to tell. Our social affairs correspondent Alison Holt reports now from North Yorkshire.
This is the road back to some sort of independence for 85-year-old Eileen Curtin. She's just spent more than a month in hospital after a stomach bug.
I felt terrible. I couldn't describe it, how I felt. I wasn't eating, and it took me all my time to drink because I was frightened.
The danger was she'd be stuck in an expensive hospital bed waiting for the care she needed to cope at home.
I was isolated in a little room all by myself. I was very down, you know. And I thought I'm never going to come out of there.
But she was moved to this special flat with care on hand. Without it, she could have been in hospital for another fortnight. It's one way North Yorkshire County Council and the NHS locally are working together to ease pressures.
I feel as if they're helping me to get the strength back. And I do feel better for it. And I mean, I was never lonely.
But North Yorkshire is a large rural county with an ageing population. Despite investing in new services, like many authorities highlighted in today's National Audit Office report, the council is struggling with the sheer demand for care. And delays in getting people out of hospital have increased. At Harrogate Hospital, it's social worker Carol Burden who has to organise the community support needed.
At the moment it's very busy. There is a drive to get them out as soon as possible, but then you have to do the a liaison with families, any community nurses or anybody that needs to be involved in that discharge. It can be quite hard to coordinate that care and find the care.
The ambitions of the council plan are all about better outcomes for all North Yorkshire residents despite reductions in local government funding.
It's North Yorkshire councillors and officials who have to find the money to pay for a lot of that care. They're raising council tax, but this Conservative-run authority is adamant a long-term solution has to be found.
I am too gravely disappointed that the government hasn't seen fit to provide genuinely new money when it is so desperately needed.
7 years ago, this council spent about a third of its budget on providing care and support for people who are older and disabled. But now the cost of adult social care is heading towards half of its budget, with demand still increasing. And that's at the heart of the problems they're wrestling with in there today.
We will continue to plan ahead for the future. We will continue to prioritise social care. You've seen we've done that. Social care is a much bigger proportion of our budget. But it's probably the most worrying time in social care that I've ever known in 20 years.
And at each stage, the care system is showing signs of the pressure.
And of course we've got this evening's handover at 7:50.
At this Harrogate home care provider, they're arranging support for new council-funded clients. But on the wages they're able to pay, it can be a struggle to compete with supermarkets for staff.
You know, you're driving from place to place, you're in your own vehicle, and it's easier to be in one place. Now that might be a nursing home or it might be a supermarket. It is hard to compete with that, and I think the only thing that carers aren't paid enough, for the service that they deliver daily. They work long hours.
Hi Jenny, it's Sue. Hi Sue.
And people like 62-year-old Jenny Dent rely on those care workers. She's partially paralysed with other complex conditions. The 4 visits she gets each day mean she can remain at home. Vital support, which she says needs recognising.
Value your carers, give them more money, give them more respect, and provide more carers and adequate care for people who want to be able to live in their own home.
The government insists people are benefiting from health and care services working together and that more money is being invested. But change takes time, and for those on the front line, the pressure is here now. Alison Holt, BBC News, North Yorkshire.
Labour has accused the government of doing a deal with a Conservative council to prevent an embarrassing council tax rise to fund social care. Jeremy Corbyn said that leaked text messages from the leader of Surrey Council show he'd called off a local referendum after an offer